Alright, what is going on, guys? Get another breakdown for UFC Vegas 69. This one's on the main card at heavyweight. We got Josh Parisian taking on Jamal Pogues. Parisian, the older fighter, 33 years old. Pogues, 27. Parisian's going to have a 1 inch advantage in height, 2 inches in reach. So I guess I'll start with Jamal Pogues, the newcomer. Coming off the Contender Series where he won a fairly comfortable decision against Paulo Hanato Jr. He actually went 2-0 in the Contender Series. Both of these guys did. His first Contender Series appearance was in 2019 against Marcus Brigagal, and 7 takedowns. It's always funny. Like, sometimes they're stingy with the contract, sometimes they just hand them out to anybody. I think you get 7 takedowns, like, that's a pretty good performance. But yeah, it takes out an undefeated fighter there. And yeah, that's where he's had most of his success in his career, has been with the wrestling. The losses are to higher level people. Jordan Young, who was undefeated when he fought Pogues. He actually died last year, some type of overdose. But his career was progressing nicely. He had just beaten Omar Yakhmedov in PFL, and against Alex Polizzi, he lost to him. Polizzi, D1 wrestling background, he was pushing the wrestling pace on Pogues. Pogues did manage to have a couple nice reversals. He had a couple nice takedowns of his own, but he was just kind of overmatched and got caught in a heel hook in the 4th round. But on the Contender Series this past time, I think, he thought he had to get the knockout because he got the decision, the takedown heavy decision in his last performance and didn't get a contract. So he's looking to trade. And, his striking could use some work. He has, like, a nice jab. He has a really accurate overhand right, too. When he throws that 1-2, it's pretty accurate. And he has a nice high kick that he goes to, too. Other than that, a little basic on the feet. Doesn't really have like knockout power, which is a little concerning. And the fact that he's fighting at heavyweight here, let me make sure it's heavy. I don't know if it's heavyweight. He's mostly fought at light heavyweight. I mean, he did on the Contender Series heavyweight, but yeah, light heavyweight against Tim Hiley. He was kind of like an undersized light heavyweight, more of a middleweight. So yeah, it does concern me a little bit with him being at heavyweight because, I think he could definitely come into that heavyweight frame, and if he does, he could be solid for sure. But he's just a little bit small, a little bit undersized in his current form. So this fight, if I'm going to make any bet on it, it's going to be way independent. But with the odds, I don't think I'm going to make a bet anyway. But anyway, yeah, Pogues, like, the striking is a little basic. The only thing I don't like is in what I forget which fight it was. I think it was Brigagal. And a couple of these other fights, when he gets tired, he just backs straight up. And he does a good job of, like, exploding off the fence into a takedown. But, it's concerning. If you're, like, it all lends into, like, what I was saying about him being a little bit undersized for heavyweight. I just don't want to see him getting backed up or just walking backwards willingly against, like, somebody like Parisian who has heavyweight power, even if he's a little sloppy. He's built like a real heavyweight. And, that heavyweight power is different if you're undersized. So it's the only thing I would say to keep in mind. But, yeah, the takedown ability is good. He has a wide variety of takedowns that he goes to. A lot of times he likes to get double underhooks, look for the trip, and then he'll transition to a single leg. He can get good open mat double legs, too. He times them well. So all around the wrestling game is solid for Pogues. Just the lack of finishing ability gives me pause. And for Parisian, like I said, like, built like a real heavyweight, moves pretty well, but just kind of like sloppy striking. Just kind of has that like bar fight style. Just kind of meanders around and throws 1-2s. And his last couple fights, he dips his head a lot, and it's kind of weird. But yeah, he's coming off a really nice comeback win against Alan Badeau. Badeau had him hurt, dropped him in the 1st round, but then Parisian managed to work in his wrestling, get the ground and pound knockout. That's kind of the recipe against Alan Badeau. He's got hands, but he struggles with the grapplers, and he gets tired, too. Against Parker Porter, lost a tough decision. Against Rocky Martinez, won that one. Really close fight. Honestly, I thought maybe Martinez should have won, but, I could see the argument for 2 and 3 for Parisian. But, yeah, both of these guys have fairly decent cardio for the weight class, even if they both look tired. Like, Parisian looks tired, but he still keeps his power into the 3rd round. And I would say he's most effective when he's at range. He's really good kicks. He hasn't been able to stay at range in a lot of these fights. He's been getting pressured or, forced to grapple or something. So it'll be interesting to see what Pogues does because, he could just sit there and just kind of wait for Parisian to come to him. That could be a little bit dangerous. But, yeah, like I said, he's got that He's got that heavyweight power that does concern me. Like it could just be one of those heavyweight fights where Pogues has all the attributes on paper, but Parisian just catches him with some clubbing hook slash overhand hybrid and gets him out of there. But we look at the odds here, and Jamal Pogues at -225, and I do agree Pogues has to be the pick, but at that price, I don't think I'm going to get there to bet. Maybe it'll be like a couple weeks ago where Tabora opens up as a 2-1 favorite, ends up sliding down to -130, and then I'll bet it. But I'm not seeing that. It seems like the money's gonna come in on Pogues. And listen, like if he can get the takedown, and if he comes in and he looks like he's added to his frame to be a heavyweight, then he could have some upward mobility, but he needs to get some finishing ability for sure. Because that's the main thing that gives me pause about his game. If he can add some layers to the striking, I think he's got a really good base because he's got good wrestling and good cardio. But yeah, until we've seen him cracked to see if he has a chin, see if he can take like a big power punch at heavyweight, I don't want to bet him at -225 if I'm worried about him getting the finish. They got over 2.5 is favored, so I guess Vegas, probably thinks that Pogues is going to get the takedowns here. So yeah, I mean if that happens, I think Pogues wins. But again, it's a little bit steep of a price for me to bet on a lower level heavyweight matchup like this. So thanks for watching, guys. Sure, subscribe and take it easy.